2, 1. What the fuck is up, buddy?
What's going on?
Dude, I have been looking forward to this. I know we had to reschedule a couple of times, but I have been very excited for this. I'm sorry that your fight had to not happen last weekend.
Yeah, that's a whole story. We'll get to talking about that for sure.
Well, and you know what, man? So I've become a fan of MMA, to the point where I'm following who's on the top right now, what's going on, mainly UFC. And so I've been watching it a lot more, and I've becoming friends with you and paying attention a little more to local fighting. Bro, I don't remember if you posted it or if it was on your girlfriend's story, but that last fight you had in Colorado, where you fucking mauled that guy. Yeah, if I was your potential competitor, I saw that, nah, that's okay. I think we'll spend a couple more months in the lab before I take on that monster.
No, that one was pretty funny because I had been training for this one dude. His name was Jimmy Lee Turner. I don't know. I was supposed to fight him, and my coach sits me down on fight week. He gets me in on Monday. Says come here, and I'm like, you know what this means? I'm like, oh, no, you mean someone's pulling out? So he's like, yeah, your opponent's pulling out. So I don't know, but we do have a heavyweight for you. Meanwhile, I only weigh 200 pounds. Max heavyweight's 265. He goes, we do have a heavyweight because the guy from our gym had to pull out due to a family member of his passed away or something. So,
oh shit.
And I guess this heavyweight was a local guy, so it was a big fight for the show. And my coach's like, yeah, we feel confident against you. Look how you do against our heavyweights. The guy who was supposed to fight him, he's like, look how you do against him. Look how you do against Billy. Shout out Billy. Billy's a good training partner. He's a 2-0 pro heavyweight. He just fought an LFA and knocked his dude out. I'm more than do well against these guys, training.
And what's the LFA?
LFA, it's just Legacy Fighting Alliance.
Okay.
It's kind of a feeder into the UFC. Okay. But yeah, so he says, we got a heavyweight for you. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I went up 2 weight classes, fought on that card. That was fun. Pretty much just out-wrestled him. So
max weight is 265, and you were at the time of you were notified 200.
Yes.
Did you go up at all, or did you just stay where you're at?
It's hard to gain weight that, and you don't want to gain unhealthy weight. I weighed in at 201.
Okay.
So he weighed in at 245, so he wasn't at the max.
Okay. So over a 40-pound weight difference in his favor. Explain to people why that's typically not a good idea to fight somebody 40 pounds heavier than you.
Well, the power is a big thing for sure. Man, you get hit by these big dudes, they'll put you out. I don't care how good you are. I got clipped once in the fight. Felt it. Got a little shooken up for a little bit, but it's normally not smart to go up. But I used to
closer to the mic. You're good.
I used to wrestle at heavyweight. I graduated my senior year of high school. I was 245. Okay. I was a big boy. I got all the way up to 260 when I wrestled at Mizzou in college. So I figured I've dealt with heavyweights and I've wrestled with heavyweights my whole life. So it won't be that much of a difference, even though I don't have the weight. And also, if I'm on top, it's better than don't let them get on top of you, pretty much.
Yeah. And so you wrestled at the collegiate level.
Correct.
That's fucking badass. How long were you at Missouri for?
About 2.5 years.
Okay.
So that was a pretty cool experience. Got a scholarship out there.
So how old were you when you were wrestling out there?
18.
Okay. How long have you been fighting at that point? Or any type of martial arts or?
So I did judo when I was younger for a few years. And then I just started wrestling my freshman year of high school. Placed fifth my freshman year, took second, then took back state championships. But then I got recruited to the University of Missouri. And that was a really cool, humbling opportunity. It went from, beating up on these, lower level New Mexico big heavyweights to wrestling a guy like Nick Gwizdowski. If you don't know who that is, look him up. He's a 3-time world bronze medalist. I wrestled him on his senior night when I was 18 years old, and I got a humbling experience my freshman year.
Holy shit.
I was a true freshman wrestling a lot of these men. I went from being 70-0 in the matches, my last 2 years of high school, to I think I was 11-22 my freshman year, getting whooped up a lot by these dudes. It was fun though. I mean, I learned a lot.
Especially at the highest level, a lot of MMA fighters have either wrestling or jiu-jitsu as their base. Are you starting to, as you're going through your fighting career, are you finding that's kind of the rule for a lot of guys, is that if you're going to do MMA, you kind of need that literally ground level ability to even withstand a cage match?
Yeah, it's not like MMA back in the day, style versus style. Yeah, you got to have everything now. Just like me, I got to be a pretty good striker. I mean, these guys are good everywhere nowadays, even at the lower level, but It's nice to have a wrestling background. I mean, you see most of the champs in the UFC and most people that are in the UFC, like, or at the top level of MMA, they're really great wrestlers.
So what made you want to go from you're just doing wrestling at this point to, okay, I want to actually branch out, not only have more things under my belt, but I want to go compete in this like specific category of MMA here rather than just because wrestling, like, is there even like a major pathway for wrestling outside of like the Olympic team? The podcast is sponsored by the amazing people over at Chop Chili Company. If you've been a listener to the podcast for a while, you know that I love these guys and their amazing chili. And right now they are running a special offer exclusive to the listeners of this podcast. Go online to chopchilico.com and use code OnlyKings at checkout, and not only will you receive 25% off your entire order, you will also get a free cookbook based on Hatch chili recipes free at checkout. Like I said, go to chopchilico.com and use code OnlyKings at checkout. And not only will you receive 25% off your order, you will also get a free cookbook to go with your chili. They are also in stores across New Mexico at stores such as Albertsons, John Brooks, Lowe's, and a bunch more in cities such as Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Tucumcari, Las Vegas, Roswell, Ruidoso, and even Hobbs, New Mexico. And for our listeners in El Paso, Texas, we are in your supermarkets as well. Like I said, go to chopchilico.com, use code OnlyKings at checkout for 25% off and a free cookbook. Now back to the podcast.
There's the world team, so 10 spots instead of 6 spots. Yeah, if you're not one of the best 10 in the world or United States, you're not sniffing anything. It's hard. It's hard to do that.
Was that a lot of your thought process? Like, this MMA is a lot wider, and a lot of people are getting into it now, so it's just kind of everywhere.
Kinda. Since I was young, my dad kind of got me into it. I was doing arm bars on little Power Ranger dolls and stuff like that, and I guess it was just kind of embedded in my brain. I knew I wanted to do it for a long time. I just got into it after my wrestling career was done. So
okay, that's sick. So you come back from Missouri.
Actually, I transferred from Missouri. I wasn't starting anymore, and I had some. So I wasn't doing great in school out there. I wasn't in the best spot. And I transferred to Adams State my last 2 years. Did all right there. Didn't get to wrestle nationals. There was the COVID year. So my last tournament though, I was at the U.S. Open. That's like a qualifying to make the world team and stuff. I placed 8th at the U.S. Open as All-American there. So that was one of my best tournaments.
Holy fuck.
At least my last tournament was a pretty good tournament.
What was the workup to that like?
Dude, I just trained with the dude. He was our 97-pounder. He was an undersized 97-pounder at Adams State. He was a beast.
97 pounds?
No, 197.
I was like, my brain,
wrestling terminology.
It's been a long day, and my brain went straight to 97 pounds. Is that dude healthy?
No, he's a 197-pounder. I just trained with him a lot, and dude, I went down to sea level because we were at Adams. We were pretty high. We went down to sea level at the U.S. Open. Felt great. Wrestled like freaking 7 matches. Felt good.
That's badass.
It was a good little tournament. That's when I got my USA, NM USA wrestling tattoo right there.
Oh, okay. So you leave there. Do you come directly back to New Mexico?
Yes, and then I come. My senior year was during the COVID year, so I moved back in with my parents. I finished out the school year online, and then my wrestling eligibility was done. So I got a job serving here. Actually, I was just serving, and I was serving someone, and he goes, "Where'd you wrestle?" He saw my tattoo. He's like, "Where'd you wrestle?" So we got to talking. He told him what I just told you, and he's like, "You ever think about fighting?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude. That's kind of what I want to do. I just never really haven't taken any action on it." He's like, "Come in the gym, come wrestle, come with the guys." John Judy's his name. Now he's my coach. He's the wrestling coach for Fit NHB. He's the promoter for all the Fight World events.
I went to it was a while back. It was before I fucking deployed. Because a buddy of mine used to do boxing there. Not like seriously or anything. He just kind of fell out of love with weight training for a while. He was like, I still want to be active. I enjoy boxing. Let's go do that. And I went in for a couple of classes there. That's at their old location off of Central Lomas and Broadway.
And they're at a third location now. We just moved locations again to a smaller one.
No shit.
Richmond, the Manal, I believe.
Okay.
That's nice. Sick. I like it.
Yeah, I remember that being a really badass gym. I haven't been to the new places yet.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just cool though. John Judy, that's my dude. He freaking just found me, brought me into the gym, and gym's taken care of me ever since. I mean, they've flown me out to New York. I got to see Niagara Falls for free. We'll go fight out there. I've got to do a lot of cool stuff. They put me on their cards.
That's sick, man.
Yeah. My gym's taking care of me. I'm with this gym forever. They're freaking nice.
So when did you find and then start training at Legion?
So that was like back in college when I was at Missouri. You know
Okay.
my friend. Did you ever meet Daniel Perez?
I've heard the name. I don't think
He
we've
was
met.
one of Garrett's friends like back in the day. And John
Okay.
Weisgerber, you know John.
Yeah.
So both of them, I went to high school with them. I played football with them. They're like, oh, I would go back for break. And Garrett would let me go to the gym for like a cheap price or whatever. And I would just go lift. They're like, dude, check out this new place, this sick place. So I would go lift there when I was out of college. So I knew it was the place I wanted to go when I came back.
Nice.
And then as soon as I got back, me and Nick got memberships right away.
Nice.
Me and Nick actually went through. It's funny. Our weight loss journey is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Nick was up to 330, and I was around 255, and we would hit. We called it the quarantine gym. His family owned like a little place, and they rented it out to some gym. So me and him would all the gyms were closed then. So we lost weight when probably everyone was gaining weight during that time. He got all the way down to 220. I'm where I am now, lean. We both got in shape. Then we got a membership at the Legion as soon as it reopened.
Fuck yeah. See, when COVID hit, I can finally talk about this now. When COVID hit, I had just gotten back from a deployment, but I didn't go straight back to Albuquerque. I'd gone to Fort Bliss because I left country on some medical stuff that happened. And so I'm at Fort Bliss, and it was honestly like, I can't even complain. It was like the best case scenario. I got a room to myself, and I just got to stay there. I didn't have to pay fucking rent for anything, and I was getting paid on active duty orders. I was just chilling. But I'd spent, because I mean, including the workup to deployment, I just spent, it's like all of October, November, December, January, and then also 5 months I'd spent eating a shit ton of food and lifting heavy ass weight. Like, that is the strongest that I've ever been.
That is the best.
Like,
that's how me and
bar
Nick
none.
got, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just fucking like, fuck, when I got to Fort Bliss down in El Paso, it's my heaviest that I've been. I was walking around at like 193, 195. And I mean, I liked it because I was finally getting muscle. I was getting bigger, and then I didn't have to run a whole lot. So I was like, okay, I can do my cardio when it's time to cut weight. But I didn't expect COVID to happen. And so the gym's locked down, but I kept eating.
Oh, shit.
So then when I got back to Albuquerque in July, that's when I found Legion. And especially at the time, I fell in love with the gym immediately, but that place was not known for their cardio equipment.
Nope. And like one broken down treadmill in the back.
Yep. Well, and when I started going there, that barely worked. The big, like, bulky black one. And I was like, you know what? This is a treadmill. There's a bike right there. Fuck it. They work. And that was my cardio. And then like the parking lot across the street, I would just run over there. But yeah, cutting that weight cutting weight in general sucks. But when you're having to do it, because I'd imagine like when you're doing it, when you first started cutting weight like that for COVID, did you like, okay, in 3 months I'm gonna do this, or is it?
The joke was abs by 4th of July.
Nice.
That's what I just kept telling Nick. And we just, biggest thing, we didn't even do much cardio. We just ate clean is the biggest thing we changed. I mean, we didn't eat like we were 300 pounds anymore.
Yeah.
Because when we were at Adams State, that's when I met Nick at Adams. He just did school there. I was roommates with his girlfriend or something at the time. And dude, he would make nachos every Monday, and we would go bench every Monday. And the nachos he would make, dude, it was like 8 layers of nachos with beef, chicken. And every Monday we would eat that and eat like 3 bowls after a big bench day.
That's awesome.
We felt good benching. It was nice being able to bench over 400 pounds, but like Nick said, it was hard to walk up the stairs.
Dude, I remember when I finally benched 225, but that was like, all right, cool. We've hit the second floor. Life feels good, but my elbows were not fucking having it.
I can't bench with this shit anymore.
So I was like, all right, we need to kind of tailor this back a little bit, get my form a little better. But 400 fucking pounds, holy shit.
Dude, Nick was benching 455, and I got 425, a touch and go.
You guys are fucking freaks.
I was always
Jesus
a good bencher. It was weird. Even in high school, my dad, he never let me lift weights before high school, but the summer going in my freshman year, he started training me. He's like, okay, this is how you bench, this is how you do stuff. So I think by the end of my freshman year, I was benching 225 already.
That's good shit.
And then I got 405 as a senior in high school.
I was like, okay, yeah, freshman year of high school, you're benching 225.
I was a good bencher, which is weird because I got long arms.
I'm just going to move that right
Okay,
there.
my
Yeah,
bad.
you're good. No, you're good. You're good. You're good. So 225 fucking freshman year of high school.
I was a big bench, and now I could I failed with 335 the other day.
That's still good.
Training, not training for benching anymore, not
Yeah.
heavy training, lifting.
Well, it's not. How conducive is weight training, like traditional weight training, almost like bodybuilding training type stuff? How conducive is that to fighting?
I mean, it still helps. You still want to be strong, and you still.
Just gonna do that number. There you go.
All
Perfect.
right.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, it still helps to be strong. It definitely helps to be strong.
Yeah.
But it does not matter how much you bench off your chest. I mean, if you're tired in the third round and you can't even move your arms, there's no point.
Well, that was like if you ever watch old school fights with like Bob Sapp.
Oh,
That fucking guy.
that dude, juice to the gills.
Yeah, juice to the gills. He was like 320 when he was fighting, I think. I could be totally off on
No,
that,
I
but-
think that he was over 3. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I know he was over
'Cause
300
he was a super
pounds.
heavyweight.
But watching that guy fucking fight, it's like he's great for 2 rounds, but after he just gets gassed.
Dude, you see a lot with those muscle bound dudes. Sometimes like, oh, that dude's gonna win for sure, and then 2 minutes goes by and it's like he's gassed. It's like, oh,
It's because the body can't deliver that much oxygen
to all those muscles.
Yeah, that's fucking... The fact...
I mean, not in every case. There's some shredded badasses who
Yeah.
can go freaking all day, but
You know, I understand obviously why the UFC and just why martial arts in general don't allow PEDs.
oh
You know,
yeah.
I get it, but a part of me really wants to see
Oh,
just
you
some
know what I
roided
think?
out boys.
Almost for everything. I wish there was just a tested division and non-tested.
Right.
Like, shoot, if these dudes want to do it and they're willing to sign, let them.
Exactly. That's
Just
what
like kind of like powerlifting, tested
Yeah.
or non-tested. Let them.
Right. Oh, then, well, that's the thing too about powerlifting is like, it's all like, no one really gives a shit. You know what I mean? It's like, how much weight can you lift and like make it? The powerlifting thing that kind of blows my mind though is, I know the regulations are different depending on like the organization and whatever it is, but bench pressing and powerlifting makes no fucking sense to me because you have to, as far as I know, and from what friends have told me is you have to like almost let the bar rest for a little bit.
Yeah,
and
pause
then,
it.
like you're not allowed to use momentum.
Nope.
It's like fuck that. That just sounds horrible. Not only with like pressing heavy weight, but like the amount of strain that's putting on your shoulders. I couldn't fucking imagine.
Yeah, benching for sure killed my shoulders. I haven't benched much since I tore my pec. That was
When was that?
it was in my dad's garage. Me and Nick were benching. Of course, that's all we would do. We would bench 3 times a week when we were bored. But yeah, we put on a bunch of weight. And we were doing like a 505 with 355 and chains. We were going heavy, and it went So I rested it a couple days and tried to bench again, and it popped worse.
Did it like peel off the fucking?
It didn't peel off, so it's probably grade 2 tear. I still have a hole. It's pretty nasty. I'll show you sometime. But it's like,
damn. And so how do you when you're like training up for a fight? So like this last one, for instance, in Colorado,
Yeah.
right? How does your training revolve around injuries like that?
injuries, being a fighter, you're never going to be 100% healthy.
Right.
Never. Like, that's just,
Yeah.
your broken toes, your knees bugging you, your elbow hurts, something's going to be hurting. You just have to find ways to train through it. Do other things. Obviously, you're not going to try to beat the shit out of your leg if it's hurt, but you still want to get work in doing other things. Pretty much just staying smart and talking with my coaches. They know what to do. They've been around the game forever, so.
Are there these obviously what you just brought that up like with your coaches? Are there like any newer, like for instance, again, I'm not the most well versed guy on MMA or on fighting or anything, but recently there's been like you've seen a lot more of like calf kicks coming up, right? So are your coaches like? Well, has there been a time where they're like they go up to you and say, "Hey, like this is something that is becoming prevalent in fighting right now. Or this is a technique that is showing a lot of like, a lot of promise, something like that." Are there like newer like weapons you're putting in your arsenal as like fighting changes over time or anything like that? You know what I'm trying to say?
Kinda, yeah. So the calf kick's kind of new, but not new. People don't train it and been around forever. Even Muay Thai and all these other.
It's like
stuff.
more prevalent now,
but it is more prevalent, yeah. So not necessarily. So kind of what my coaches do, if the closer we're getting dialed into a fight, obviously I'm a great wrestler. I'm going to work on my wrestling game plan, how I'm going to get it to the ground. But once I don't have anything scheduled, like right now I'll go work some different stuff with my boxing coach, go work stuff with Tom or Muay Thai coach, and go try, like work on my head kicks, go try to learn more things now. But once it gets dialed into closer to the fight, obviously I'm going to try to work towards my game plan.
Right. And so how much of your training camp is studying provided the motherfucker doesn't drop out, how much of it is revolved around watching footage of your opponent fight?
Right now, zero, dude. I'm just an amateur right now. I'm still not at the pro level. Once you get to the pro level and there's a lot of film and footage right now. Right now, I'm an amateur. I want to get experience. That's why I'm surprised that people don't want to take fights as an amateur. Like, dude, your amateur record doesn't matter. Once you turn pro, it's 0-0, and it does not matter at all. You never hear about know about Sean O'Malley's amateur record? He got knocked out as an amateur, and you've never heard that in your life because no one cares. It doesn't matter. You just want experience as an amateur. That's why I don't understand why people don't want to fight. Most people say they want to be fighters. They just want to post on Instagram, post and look cool and say they're a fighter. Even people in the fight game are soft. I don't understand.
Well, and talk about a guy like marketability. I don't know who whispered in Sean O'Malley's ear or pointed him in the right direction, like social media wise, but that dude will have a career forever.
Oh yeah.
Forever. Like him, Strickland, obviously fucking McGregor.
Oh
like
yeah. No one does it like Conor. I used to like hate on Conor, but then now I realize I'm like, damn, that dude was just smart.
He's a businessman. He's a businessman. When did you find, like, when did it click for you that fighting is something you want to devote I would say your time, but you have to devote your life to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So when was there like a change for you that happened, or was it over time?
Yeah, so I took my first fight on like a week notice off a 4-day drinking bender. I think I was drunk when my coach called me, and it was against a dude I trained with. He wrestled in college. He was a dude who couldn't get a fight. So my coach calls me, hey, you got this guy, Chris. I'm like, yeah, I know Chris. I'm like, yeah, I'm down to fight. I messaged him. I'm like, hey, cool, if we fight, we'll still be boys after. Actually, we still train together now. He comes to fit, trains Monday. He's supposed to have his first pro fight, but it got canceled. But yeah, so I took my first fight, short notice. I was like, hell yeah, I'd get better. And I had him submitted twice in the first round. He got out, and I realized I could barely get off the stool the second round. So tired. I'm like, holy shit. So after that fight, I realized, like, damn, I could be really good if I put my life to this, stop partying, and just train hard. You know, like, I'm pretty damn talented. I might as well freaking use it. And that's pretty much what this year's been about. So I've had 2 fights this year. I was supposed to have 3. The first one was against this dude, AJ Hotchkins. The dude's got a big following on Instagram. He was a former Oregon backer. He was making his amateur debut against me. He had all this hype. Joe Rogan follows that dude on Instagram. Dude's got a big old following. And I was just like, yeah. I took that fight knowing, there's risks or whatever. But yeah. I took the fight. I won. I choked him out in the second round. That's experience. Like, man, you're trying. I took that serious. I took the camp serious, took the fight serious, no drinking. 3 months, not a sip of alcohol, diet 100% perfect, dialed in, and the results show. When you put in the work, the results show.
So, and not only in a training camp like that, but when you had mentioned a little bit earlier about how when you and Nick were just cutting weight, you just stopped eating shitty. You really dialed in your diet. How important is what you're putting into your body to the results you're going to get? Because I feel like that's something that a lot of people miss, no matter how obvious it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one of the most.
I say that with a bottle of whiskey sitting on the table and some chew, different kinds of chew.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation, but that's one of the most important things. Not just for how your body performs. Obviously, what you put in, you're gonna perform. You can use that as fuel. But just say you're eating a shit ton of inflammatory foods all the time, and then your back's inflamed up and you can't train because you're hurt. You're taking away time from training just because your back or whatever, your knees are inflamed because you're eating all these bad oils or everything that's just in all these foods. Like,
yeah, I
can't grab a packet of anything without reading the ingredients.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny. My girlfriend's like, oh, look, this one doesn't have high fructose corn syrup. Is it good? I'm like, no, it looks all right. It has sucralose at the bottom. Not the best artificial sweetener, but, not the...
Yeah. Dude, high fructose corn syrup is, like, the fact that shit is in bread. Like, why?
It's cheap.
Why the fuck is it in bread?
Well, they want us...
Right.
They want us unhealthy, but not dead.
See, and that's...
unhealthy enough to... Where we have to... look at Big Pharma and the way the food, how everything's tied together. You get into that rabbit hole.
Well, I was about to say, if you want to throw on the tinfoil hat, and when you look at how, back in like the 40s or the 50s, what's it called? Monsanto, the big sugar company at the time, they paid off a bunch of leading doctors that were publishing all these papers at the time that were like, and they're like, hey, so you guys are going to publish papers saying that fat is the enemy, not sugar. Sugar is good. Sugar keeps you awake. Sugar keeps you moving. And you're going to publish that. Here's all your money. Have a good day.
Yep.
And then now it's like, well, no, there is, because I remember growing up as a kid, and the big thing was
no trans fat, no fat, no.
Right. No trans fats for sure. That was the big thing. And then like coming out of the 90s, that was a huge thing. And then it was just fat in general. Like you need to have low fat this and low. It's like, no, there are.
Yeah, like lean meat. It's like, no, beef fat's one of the best things for you. Like,
Yep. Like there are good fats like beef fat, butter, egg, fucking egg yolks and
hell
stuff
yeah.
like that.
I'll
Like
go cook a ribeye with a bunch of beef fat and throw grass-fed butter on it. It's one of my best meals with a bunch of eggs. And the attack on eggs is funny too. They're high in cholesterol. It's like your brain is made of mostly cholesterol.
exactly. Well, and it's funny like when people bring up the cholesterol argument, I'm like, okay, where do steroids come from? Like, what are they derived out of? Like, what do you, like, the things that make the body work better in moderation. I'm not talking about fucking like tren or anything crazy like that, but the general PEDs that are banned because they make athletes so much better. What are steroids derived from? Cholesterol. They are literally made in a lab from cholesterol. That's where like the steroid and steroids, that's where that shit comes from. So when you, I hear that same thing too. It's like you should only be eating egg whites. Like egg whites are fucking great.
The yolk's some of the best thing for you, best for your brain.
That's where all the vitamins are, all the nutrients. Like, granted, I haven't had breakfast in a very long time because I've been lazy with my diet when it comes to breakfast specifically. But one of my favorite breakfasts to eat was 4 whole eggs with 5 egg whites, some oatmeal, and if I can get some if it's like a Saturday morning, I cook like half a steak with it.
Yeah.
Or it's just something like that to get a lot of protein with a little bit of complex carbs. I feel fucking amazing.
So great.
I feel amazing after. What foods do you find in your diet are most, because I mean it's all relative to the person, obviously.
Yeah.
That's why stuff like carnivore diet works amazing for people like Jordan Peterson and his
Yeah.
daughter, but then for other people it'll fucking really hurt them. What foods, generally speaking, do you feel put your body in that inflammatory state? And how do you know you're inflamed? Like, I feel like it's something that kind of goes over people's heads, too.
One of the biggest things, I used to eat Chipotle every day for lunch. Like, they're pretty healthy.
I
Look at all
fuck
this.
with Chipotle so hard.
I love Chipotle. This was a hard one for me. So I was eating perfectly clean during my first fight camp this year against the Hodgkins dude. And my back had been killing me, and it felt like I had a ball. And dude, I ate Chipotle every day for lunch, but I was eating clean. And I'm like, I don't understand what it is. And we kind of did more research into it. Chipotle uses rice bran oil in their rice, and they put cups of it. So it's the highest amount of inflammatory oil. Rice bran is pretty much like canola oil. Think about how would you get oil from a rice? Chemicals, spray, all kinds of nasty stuff. And that stuff, they throw piles of it in the rice. And I could tell, like, bad oils, inflammatory. Like if I'm eating a bunch of sweets or bad, anytime I eat really bad, I definitely go over the top when I eat bad because I go months of eating perfectly clean.
Yeah.
Like I'll go eat like 20 cookies and then a pie, and I'll eat, and I could eat ridiculous amounts. It's gross. Have you had the Legion Linguine at Saggio's? I did 2 of them in 13 minutes.
Fuck. Oh my God. So for people who don't know what this is, first of all, it's the only thing I order now at Saggio's. It's the only, and the reason that it's only that I like their other dishes and their pizza's fucking awesome. I love
their pizza, yeah, but I still get that.
But for the money you're spending, you can spend because it's got a little pricey over at Saggio's.
Everything.
You spend like $15, $16, $17 on whatever pasta, right? And you're gonna get 5.5, maybe if you're lucky, 700 calories around there, and you'll be good. Or you spend like 16 and some change, might be 17 now, and you get over 1,000 calories.
Isn't it 2,000? I think.
I thought it was like 1,000, like 1,075 or some shit.
Maybe you could be right. Maybe I was thinking 2,000 with both dishes.
Yeah, with both of them for sure. Oh God, yeah. So one of them is just like it's a little over 1,000 calories, 118 grams of protein, 60 some grams of fat, shit ton of carbs, and it is. Well, I remember Garrett was actually telling me this. I guess when they first made that dish, when they first put it together, it would come out in the cast iron. But too many fucking meatheads showed up ordering it at the same time, and it broke the conveyor.
Oh shit! I didn't know that was why.
Yeah, in the kitchen, because they would just load it up. They'd be like, "Okay, sounds good." So they've got I guess they had 4 or 5 of these dishes in the cast iron pots. But as they were going through the conveyor oven, the oven broke because of all the weight. So they put it out. I don't know how they make it now, but when they bring it out, it's in this giant. I mean, always usually get it to go. And when you're holding that box, it's like fucking 10 pounds. It's like 7-10 pounds.
It's heavy.
So you eat 2 of those?
I ate 2 of those in 13 minutes. I actually live streamed it on Serena's story when I went. Because the first time I had one, and then we were drinking beers, and it was for Garrett's birthday or something.
Yeah.
And then Garrett goes, "I'll give you $300." Or I ordered a calzone, and he's, "I'll give you 300." I already finished my calzone. He's all, "I'll give you $300 if you eat that too." I'm like, "No way." Okay, I ate it, drank a couple beers, and he's like, "No way." And I'm like, "Only send me 100. It's your birthday." And then so we wanted to eat 2 of them, so we planned a day where I could go eat 2 of them, and I crushed it.
Jesus Christ.
My poor girlfriend, she has to cook so much food, and especially when I'm working out a lot, I could eat a lot.
Yeah.
We have like servings, like cooks enough for a family because we eat for lunch and dinner. I mean, for dinner that day and lunch the next day.
Yeah.
Just saves money, and you know what you're eating healthy.
Exactly.
So
right.
we do that every time. She's like, "I don't understand how you eat so much." We cook like giant, like the 13.5-inch pan plate full of food, and then that'll be for me for dinner, her for dinner, and she eats a tiny little bit, you know. And then for me for lunch, and then hers a little bit for lunch.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Holy shit. So back to, so you're saying with Chipotle they had all this
Rice bran oil. Look into it more if you, yeah.
So is it mainly just the really bad oils when
bad
you
oils
eat
is
them?
probably the biggest thing I notice in my back. I have a weird back. My back would flare up and go weird sometimes.
I was gonna say
that's probably because I was dirty bulking 100% of my life and just eating like shit, trying to be a heavyweight when I'm not really a heavyweight frame.
Right.
Even though I'm pretty big, I'm not really a true heavyweight frame.
What are like your symptoms, I guess, what are the symptoms you start showing when you're like, "Oh shit, I think I'm eating a lot of bad shit. I'm starting to feel inflammation." Like, what does that look like for you? What does it feel like for you?
Most of my back and hips getting really tight, and I notice more in the back, but you could just, like, it's weird how I could actually feel it, because I've noticed when I go 100% clean, damn, I feel healthy. I feel good. Other than like broken toes from kicking people and stuff, but that stuff happens. The body stuff you can control. That it makes a huge difference for me.
You just feel like looser. You feel like a better oiled machine when you know that the fuel you're putting inside.
Oh, for sure. It's so important.
Just operating at 100%.
That's one of the biggest things is eating well.
Well, I kind of noticed it when I turned like 24, and then certainly 25, and now that I'm 26. I'm starting to feel like the food that I put in my body, so because obviously if I fucking drink a bit, it's gonna fuck with my brain. But the food I put in my body, it starts to mess with my brain function. You know what I mean? I'm not as sharp. I'm not like, I can't focus enough. Like, I'll never eat before a podcast.
Oh.
Ever. Like, I might have like a little drink. And if I am gonna eat, it's just something super simple. It's like fruit or some shit like that. Like Costco, they have now put out my favorite drinking food ever, and it's so fucking simple, dude. It is literally, it's a platter, like a giant like platter about that big, and it's 2 types of grapes, strawberries, and 2 kinds of cheeses.
Costco's a shit.
Oh, bro. But like I've got that in the fridge, right? So I might have like a little bit of that before I do a podcast if I'm super hungry. But if I eat like even like a regular sandwich, I'll sit here like,
maybe that's why I'm kind of dumb all the time. I eat all the time.
But I just noticed that. But I'd imagine if I eat like something like light, like if I eat some eggs, probably if I even eat like a little bit of steak, something like that, it won't affect me too much. But I feel like if I eat too many complex carbs, or if I eat like something like oh my god, if I ate like, I haven't done it before, but I imagine if I ate like some fucking Chiba Hut, I'd be down for the count. You know what I mean? I was like, oh fuck. Chiba Hut is because they're starting to branch out into like the local entertainment stuff. Like they hosted the Slums for a show. Like 2 or 3 months ago. It was a little fucking thing. It was funny.
Yeah, I make it to most of the shows, but I missed that one.
It was a funny little thing, dude. But now that they're starting to branch out and do more of that, I'm kind of looking at them for a sponsorship. So Chiba Hut, if you're watching, that'd be fucking sick.
Hey, I'll eat 5 of your subs in under 15 minutes, Chiba Hut, for a sponsorship for Noah. Just kidding.
That's called commitment, ladies and gentlemen.
5? That's a lot.
So... Oh, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so when you are in prep for a fight, what is the last 48 hours before your fight? What does that look like? How are you sleeping? What does training look like? What is your, because I'd imagine a lot of your lifestyle in general is mobility, obviously, but like, especially like make sure that your mobility's intact, that you're sleeping properly, proper amount of water, because you're having to cut. How much weight are you typically cutting?
I actually haven't had a fight at my actual weight class. I'm fighting at
Okay.
185.
Yeah.
I've had guys pull out. I've had guys fight at that first fight this year, fight at 195 because he couldn't cut to 185.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm just down to fight. That's why people are saying just turn pro, try to get a fight. I'm like, I need more experience, but I want to actually have a couple of fights at my actual weight class before I turn pro. Right. You know, I want to have a good camp, good cut, weigh in, and see what I fight at 185. You know, because I mean, you never know till you know. I'm sure I know I'll feel great, but I guess you don't really know till you know. I want to do it.
Well, I mean that, and then I'm sure you've seen it too, but I've just seen these fucking videos of these pro fighters that are like going through terrible weight cuts. Like, oh my God, who the fuck was it? I think it was Amanda Nunes. There's a video that came out from her like 2 years ago, maybe 2.5, where she's in a hotel room having to cut weight, and she's just wearing just her UFC like bra spandex, and she's laying on the ground, and her team are laying these like hot towels all over her just to get the water out and get all the salt out and shit like that. Yep. So I mean, hopefully you never have to do anything fucking crazy like that.
I don't think I'll have I mean, you definitely have to lose water weight when you cut, and that's what mostly you'll be losing. But I'm not cutting a ridiculous amount of weight. Say I walk around 200 or 205 right now. Cutting to 185 won't be a problem. And I think I'm big enough for 185 too. So we'll see how it goes. But I don't think it's a ginormous cut for me.
Right. But then also knowing that you're able to do it.
Yeah, I still want to. Yeah, I want to do it to know that I mean, I haven't. I know I can, but I just want to do it. I want like 1 or 2 fights at least at my weight class, but
and that was
we'll see. And honestly, it all depends up to my coach. They'll talk about the pro stuff and when I'm ready. But I know I need more experience first.
No, and that makes perfect sense, man. And that's the big thing that I had learned when I did my first and probably only physique show was like I now have the ability to do that. Like I have the ability to cut weight, to lose weight in the first place, but then to cut it to an extreme level like that. Yeah. It's like, okay, I have that in here somewhere. You know what I mean?
To make the actual weight class,
yeah. So you said a little bit earlier, like turning, like just turn pro. How do you go like from the amateur to the pro level? Is that like?
I pretty much you sign a pro contract. I think it's. I don't know the exact truth, but I know it's pretty easy. You just sign a pro contract and you declare yourself as pro. Then you get paid. It's a bunch of stuff. It's stuff my coaches will figure out for me.
That's good. There you go.
Less thinking for me.
That's fucked, dude. That is, I think, the most like pure way to approach any I guess you could say art. Yeah, any like art or like entertainment prospect or just like something that's so like out in the void. You know what I mean? It's not like to the average person. It's not an easily attainable thing, right? It's not like you go to college and you get a 9-to-5 job to be a fighter. You know what I mean? You have to go through all these unconventional chutes and ladders till you find a coach, and eventually you find a manager, you find a great gym you love, and you keep showing. And then you're having, and you can't just live a fighting lifestyle 9-to-5 Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and I work 60 hours a week and I train to fight. You can find a way.
Exactly.
I'm not the end all be all fighting. I think I could be great. I think I can make it to pro level UFC. I know I can. I've trained with guys there. I know how good I am. I want to show it. But I'm not banking on that. You know, you can't bank on that as a damn career. You could get knocked out anytime and you're injured and your career could be over. You can't bank on that for your whole life.
Well, but to counter that, wouldn't you almost have to become obsessed like that?
Oh, I'm obsessed. I mean, I wake up at 5 a.m. I go to work for 10 hours a day and I go to practice after. My girl picks me up and we go get a lift after to train too. So I get double workouts every day still, and we make it happen.
Well, no, so let me rephrase that because I know how much you love it. That's not in the question. I guess what I'm saying is like, okay, so you hear. I mean, I think one of the best versions of this is fucking Francis Ngannou. That dude's story is insane, right? So because, I never, the most like combat sports involvement I've ever had is like I did boxing for a little bit, but I loved boxing. Never actually went out and had a fight or anything like that. I was just like in the fucking boxing club in my college, and it was a great fucking time. Loved sparring, loved working out, and it was actually my buddy who coached me through my physique prep. He's a boxer as well as a bodybuilder, and he was like, half your cardio is gonna be boxing workouts, and here's why. And I was like, sounds good. And but I remember like at the time, and I was thinking, like, yeah, maybe I could box. This is a lot of fun. But then I just see everyone else who's better than me. I was like, oh fuck. And then I think about all the people that go into fighting. They're like, this is all I have. This is all I'm planning on. And
that's a good point.
And I would never advocate for delusion. You know what I mean? It's like, now obviously I'm not going to equate fucking boxing or combat sports.
Similar to combat sports.
I'm not going to equate like combat sports to like podcasting or stand-up. Those are two very different things. But like in the same token that I'm not going to be like, you know what? I'm just going to put all my money in this, devote all my time to this, and make my money. It's like, that's delusion.
Not financially responsible.
Yeah, that's
either.
delusion,
Like,
right? Exactly. It's not financially responsible. But then back to my original points, like, I guess the point I was trying to make was I think about all these people, and even now, I think about all these people that go into fighting, like, this is all I do. I make just enough money to do this. The owners of the gym are letting me live here. And I'm just gonna only do this, like
and those dudes are dangerous, and those dudes do come there. You do see a lot of stories, but I think that's not the only way to success.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it is. I mean, you don't hear about the guys who did that and did nothing,
and
you don't ever hear about those guys.
Because exactly, and you bring up a good point though. Like, there are guys who could have been great, who were great at whatever level they were at, but they had that one fight, they made one mistake, got their lights turned off one time, and they were just never the same again.
Yeah. You never know what could happen. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's fun. I freaking love it. I mean, I do it. I mean, shit, I'm an amateur. I fight for free. I love getting in a damn cage. It's so fun.
And you bring up a good point. If you are serious about fighting, wouldn't you want to take, as long as it's safe for you, right? Because you can't have so many fights in a row. But wouldn't you want to take every opportunity to fight that you're given to not only, put your name out there, get on a card, get in a fight, but I mean, you can hit a bag and you can train and you can spar and you can do everything you want to get you ready, but you're never going to really know how good you are until you step in a cage, right?
Yeah, and you could do all the training and all the sparring against all the best people in the world, but until you're locked in there by yourself, it's a different story. It just feels different. Like, each time it feels a little better. Each time it feels a little more comfortable, but it's still different from training. You could train as hard as you want, and the training does get you ready, but once you're locked in there, it's a different story. It's fun.
That's so awesome, dude. And like, but that makes sense. It's like, how else are you really there's no other way to gauge how good you are at your practice.
Yeah, because everyone's a practice superhero, right? Like, I could talk about how good I am and how good I've done against all these people, but that doesn't matter unless you go out there and do it. It does not matter.
Exactly. And dude, I was saying that last footage that I saw, I just remember that at the very end of the fight where you got that dude on the ground, he's like, boom. But I was like pulling the foam like further away from my face. It's like, oh my god.
That dude had a chin. He took some shots. I landed some elbows on top. Boom.
Oh, that's fucking crazy. So you mentioned you work over 60 hours a week. Obviously, you have to say where you work, but you're a fucking like sheet metal worker or something.
Yeah.
Like that,
I work on base at San Diego Labs, but I work for a subcontractor, Brecon. So.
No shit. So what is a daily schedule like for you? Because how do you fit in? Like, because again, I remember it was like just a couple days ago, I think, when you put up that post, like you're just gonna stay in shape until it's time to fight.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Exactly. So what is your like daily routine looking like to keep yourself at the condition you want to be in?
Yeah, I wake up at 5, make coffee. My girl, that's a lot of help from my girlfriend for sure. She does a lot for me, especially getting me ready for fights and everything. So I get up, I go to work. I actually drive to my dad's house in the morning, and then he drives the company truck to work. So I work for him over there. It saves me so much money on gas, especially driving I live all the way in the southwest by Trisco.
Yeah.
Driving to the base every morning saves me a lot of gas. He drops me off at practice. So I owe thanks to him and my girlfriend. She picks me up after my first practice. And then we'll go hit the gym together at Legion. We'll go get a good workout together. And she writes all our workouts too. So she everything we do, she writes all our workouts. She does a lot for me. So it's pretty badass. I'm blessed to have her. But yeah, I'll go get those 2 workouts. Like, so Mondays I keep it easy. We just go. I wake up for work, go to jiu-jitsu, and we do like 5 9-minute rounds of just straight hard rolling as hard as you can. So a good 45-minute, good Monday roll. Tuesdays it'll be our wrestling and MMA sparring day. And then my girl picks me up after that, and then we'll go get a lift, and it's similar throughout the week. And then Saturdays, I've been working most Saturdays, but Saturdays if I don't work, I'll go spar, and I'll go drive. go spar and get a lift in, or just same shit, lifting. But mostly working out. That's most of your life. Making dinner. We take turns making dinner. So 2 nights or 3 nights, I'll make some, then she'll make some, and we just bring it for lunch the next day. So it's a time crunch.
Yeah.
But we get home like 7:30, 8, make dinner real quick, eat, shower, get ready for bed, on to the next day. During the weekdays, like if you talk to any of my friends, do you ever see me out on a weekday? Even when I'm drinking, like and not in camp mode, like I will not be out on a weekday no matter what. It's like training day and work day. There's no time. There's no time for anything but that.
Well, it's extreme time management.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like time crunch, it feels like sometimes, but especially working the Saturdays, like
Has that always been a part of your life, having a strict routine, having a very like dialed in way of living your life? Or is that something you had to evolve over time?
And I've definitely evolved it over time because I definitely didn't do a lot of things right with my college wrestling career. I know a lot of things I did wrong, like did not commit to the classroom as much as I should have. Then it kind of all stumbles down from there. Like you listen to the coaches saying that and you're like, yeah, whatever. But then you look back and hear them all saying that stuff now. It's like, damn, should have listened more. I was dumb. But, I mean, you could do it now.
Right.
It's never too late to commit yourself 100%. I know I have talent and I know what I have. So it's fun. It's fun putting it all together.
What do you think were some of the bigger lessons you learned while you were in college? And now, obviously, it sounds like you kind of learned those lessons after the fact, but looking back on it, because you already went through those experiences, like, okay, I zigged here when I should have fucking zagged, and I kept making that decision. What were some of those like learning moments for you that you look back on?
Yeah, my dumbass would like skip class because I was lazy, because I was tired. I mean, and now it's like, oh, I can't miss work. I have bills to pay. You have to go and wake up at 5. You have to go. Then you're like, yeah, I don't have to. But really should have then. But I think it all worked out well. Everything worked out pretty smooth. So
No, yeah,
just got to learn without super harsh lessons. But yeah, that's nice.
Well, and that's something that I mean, I would say I struggle with it because like time management was something that I learned as going to fucking military school and shit. You had all that pretty much handed to you and you just follow the routine. But like especially now, like, well, a few years ago when I left military school, I graduated college or my associate's degree and I went to UNM for a little bit, dropped out 3 times.
Hey man, I've been in college for 5 years and I still don't have my degree. So,
but it was so strange, like going to a regular college and just seeing like how unstructured it is, because it is like you need to build your schedule, you need to do things the way that fits your lifestyle or whatever it is, and it's like holy shit, yeah. If I don't go to class, nobody gives a fuck. There's like 500 people in this class.
Yeah,
nobody gives a shit.
And we were even lucky. I didn't use the resources I had at Mizzou. We had tutors available. We had people set our schedules to set them. We had first dibs on classes as being an athlete out there. I did not use what I should have. I learned a lot there and learned from my mistakes a lot, but it was still a super fun experience out there. Super awesome wrestling. I mean, for a big old school, they're in the SEC, get to use their athletic facilities. It was badass.
Yeah, how was that? That would have been a fucking trip going out there.
It was insane. It was, especially wrestling for like in New Mexico, and then going to wrestle for. They had actually won a national duels before that season, so they were like They were ranked #1 in the country. They're top 5 in the nation. Going to wrestle for a school like that, and with all those facilities, and then with them being the SEC in football and basketball and stuff,
right?
We get to use those facilities. We get to go to every home game free. We have like free breakfast and lunch at a dining hall. They make us whatever we want.
Fuck,
dude, we were spoiled, and I guess we didn't realize it, and I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have then, but. Still really cool looking back. Cool, I got that opportunity.
That is one of the biggest takeaways that I've had, like, unfortunately, in retrospect. But fuck, dude, because going to military school, it was 4 years of high school, 2 years of college. And I lived there the whole time. Same thing. 3 meals a day. Granted, wasn't the best food at all, because the company that provided that, they do a lot of colleges. It's called Sodexo. But they also provide school for the prison, or food for the prison. And I learned, I think it's like my 5th year there, I think. I learned from one of the administrative staff that like the meal plan that they buy for the school was like, I think 2 steps ahead from what the prisons got. So nice. it was like barely enough to keep you alive, but you really had to like pick and choose where it's like, okay, this is actually going to sustain me. This is a lot of bullshit. This is, you know what I mean?
Hey man, that's a lot for college kid.
Oh yeah. And then what it was funny, it was like my buddy who had ended up training me for my competition, he had been bodybuilding before he showed up to the school, and he came as a junior in high school. And so it was funny, like when watching him like eat breakfast, right? if he didn't like the way they were making eggs, or they didn't like because it's all like liquid powdered eggs and shit like that, he would take like 6 hard boiled eggs, cut out the yolks because they'd been sitting there for so long, and then he'd get like cottage cheese. Like it was like this, and it looked like not a real meal. It's like to the layman, but it's like, nope, I got my protein here, I got my carbs here, I got my extra protein source here, I got that. It's like, okay, yeah, this dude's about that fucking life.
This dude's about it.
But then, you still had 3 meals a day. You had a gym. You had we had a fucking badass gym with Olympic sized pool, fucking basketball courts, racquetball, all this cool fucking shit. And I never realized how fortunate we were to have all of that. And then when now it's like, no, you got to first of all figure out your own food. Now you got to pay for a gym membership. You got to do that, and then the gym's 15 to 20 minutes away. It's not a 5-minute walk. That is a lot of shit that I look back in retrospect. I'm like,
it's like, damn, if I would have used that right, I would have been an animal. I mean, I still was training and in shape, and obviously we had to but this could have been, if I had my diet right, if I had my head right, I could have, would have, should have. Don't matter. It don't matter now. But it was cool looking back.
Yeah. Well, I just remember back then I was I was a skinny. I've always had like the smaller frame, but like, I was just a skinny fucking guy. Like leaving high school or graduating high school, I could not break 147. I just couldn't do it. No matter how much food I ate, no matter how much, it was just, I was like a garbage disposal, bro.
I think I was that in like first grade. I was a big boy. Dude, I was like 6'1" as a freshman, 6'1.5", and I mean 6'1", and I barely grew.
Yeah.
I'm like 6'2.5" now.
So what do you do to like, because I get having a busy schedule, right? And I mean, you're doing things that you love. Like you have to fucking love it, right?
Yeah.
No one's forcing you.
No one's forcing me to go get punched in the face. It's just pretty fun.
You're fucking.
We're doing less of the getting hit. We've been working on and hitting, but.
So, like, what are you doing in your like? What is the little time you have your free time? What are you doing to fucking decompress? Like, what shit that you enjoy doing outside of training?
Man, we're so busy. Me and my girl, we do a lot. We go travel. We were actually going to Vegas this weekend to celebrate. It was supposed to be for after my fight and just kind of the timing wise, but we're going to Vegas. We go to shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I see you at shows all the time. We see you at any metal show there is. We go to that.
This is true, dude. Bullet was so badass.
Bullet was amazing. Of Mice and Men too.
Dude, I still was a little disappointed.
No, you came in with your mind made up on that one.
Yeah, well, I was because here. Okay, so the new singer, the current singer, he's not new. He's been around for a while. I love his shit. And him singing his stuff, pretty good. I think
I thought he killed OG Loco.
I think he sounded fine on that. I was shocked how good he sounded on Second and Sebring. I was shocked. He sounded like Austin.
That was good.
I was thoroughly surprised. But yeah, some of the what was the first one they did? Bones Exposed. It's kind of underwhelming.
That one was probably my least favorite song on the set.
And that's one of my favorites, period, from that band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I guess if they not ruin, but don't live up on your favorite song.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know. Something was missing. Would you still be there? I've never been a fan of that song.
I love that song. That one was good.
But, like, all the shit, I wish they did something, because I'm a fan of, I think it's called Earth, Wind, and Sky, that album. I really like that one, and I really like... it's the fucking album that has Defy on it. It's like the brown, like bronze cover. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, dude, I hate pulling out my phone during a podcast. Oh, you're good. But it's gonna fucking
it's gonna
bug me if I can't remember this name. But I love some of the first stuff he did with Of Mice and Men. But yeah, the album is called Defy. I'm stupid. Yeah. So Defy, Earth and Sky, I love. Wasn't a huge fan of Echo or Tether. They have a couple of good songs on it.
Yeah, I like. What song do I like? Obsolete was such a good one that they did. That was one of their better newer ones.
But dude, fucking Bullet for My Valentine, slaughtered.
They were amazing. Yeah, but I have a lot of stuff. I have a big family. I go see my family, go watch football with my dad. Me and my girl go to concerts. There was 1 week. It was 4 weeks in a row. I think we went to. It was Keizo, Bull for My Valentine, and Jason Aldean. So maybe 3. 3 weeks in a row, 3 different concerts because we like every genre of music. We just like go and listen to music. We go. I mean, you see us out at slum shows. We go to, and we have people over for fight nights. That's one of the main things. It involves fighting that we do all the time. She always asks, "Oh, it's Saturday. Who fights tonight?" And so I'm like, "Okay, yeah, we having people over." I'm like, "Yeah." So we have people over for fight nights and Saturdays. That's always fun. Even if I'm not drinking, I'll have people over. It doesn't bug me at all. I'm like, hell yeah, go drink and party.
I think that's one of the biggest, like, not to sound pretentious or anything, but I think it's one of the biggest parts of growing up is realizing that you don't need booze to have a good time.
Oh, yeah. Actually, funny, Nico told me the other day, we went to a surprise birthday party for his roommate at his new house or something, and I wasn't drinking, and I was just staying. We were there pretty late. I was just staying, hanging out, partying. He's like, dude, you're like a chameleon. He's like, I forget that you're not drinking. You're just hanging out, having a good time. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I just like to have a good time.
Well, I
also enjoy drinking sometimes too. I definitely will. I mean, in this weekend, I'll indulge in Vegas. Like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, I'd hate to say it's American culture because I know I'm sure it's everywhere, but it's very prevalent. Or not prevalent. It's very. There's a lot of pressure sometimes, especially if you're young and you're
if you're young.
You're the only person at the party not drinking, and it's like, why aren't you drinking? Or if you're not drinking enough, right? Why are you? Hey, bro, you babysitting that? You fucking pussy.
Yeah, and I could be. I do that sometimes. Like when I'm drinking, like, come on, what are you doing? Babysitting, like you said. I'll do the same thing, but you don't got to. There's a lot of people who won't like. Yeah. Dude, Nick, when he doesn't want to drink, he don't feel like it, we'll drink. He'll be like, haha. Just won't even entertain the idea. But I guess just getting older, like you said.
Yeah, and it's just, and I think it's like, I hate saying that I'm old, but I'm 26. I know 26 is not old.
I'm 27. I feel old.
But you're starting to feel it a little bit.
I feel it a little. Last year I was coaching. Dude, they were calling me old man. Like I coach at a Trisco, I coach wrestling, assistant volunteer when I have time. Yeah, that's another thing I add to time. Dude, one of them was calling me old man. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm the young cool coach, right? Right? I guess not. Holy shit.
That's funny. Well, like, and then for me, like, this is, like, maybe this is a personal thing, but like 9 times out of 10, when I get out of a seat, I make a sound. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay. It's like, oh shit.
I'm making the dad noises.
Exactly. But it's like, I don't know, man. The effects of alcohol are starting to set in a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like, I mean, it's literal poison. It's the worst thing you could do to your body is drink. It is, and that's coming from someone who loves to drink sometimes, but it's in moderation now.
Well, I mean, it's recorded. You know what I mean? That's like actual data. Like that is the worst thing you do to your body, but it's so celebrated. And then things like marijuana is illegal federally.
Yeah, like. Yeah, that doesn't make sense for me. Like, I don't like smoking. I'm not a smoker. I had like 1 year where I like smoke. I don't like smoking. I don't enjoy it. But all my friends just smoke. Hell yeah, dude, that's way better than drinking. Still, I mean.
Well, see, and it makes perfect sense to me because again, it's like a part of me says it's tinfoil hat. The other part of me knows that it's fact. It's like talking a little bit earlier about the making somebody a permanent patient. You know what I mean? If you legalize marijuana. I'm not a numbers guy, so I might be pulling this out of my ass. But if I just had to throw a dart at a dartboard, I'd say like 30 to 40% of opioid usage goes away.
Yeah, dude, opioids. Talk about that stuff. That's all on purpose.
Well, it goes away, and
they don't want it to go away. They don't want the opioid crisis to go away.
Exactly.
Once you created the opioid crisis.
Exactly. You start curing patients that would have been with you until they fucking die. Yeah. And I never understood how strong that shit is until I had my hernia surgery. Because, dude, like I've taken oxycodone, I think, or OxyContin, one of the two.
Yeah.
Years and years ago when I got my wisdom teeth removed.
That's when I think that's the only time I've taken oxy.
And it made me sick as fuck. It made me like horribly sick to my stomach for like 30 minutes, and then I passed out for 6 hours, and I had like an amazing nap. But that was a fucking horror show too, because they had taken my wisdom teeth out. Right? Did you get all of yours taken out at once?
Just one.
So
they didn't put me under though. They were just yanking on it, just numbed the shot, and
the fuck.
I'm like. It's just supposed to hurt, but it doesn't hurt. It feels weird.
Did you go to Mexico, bro?
No, it was here.
Fuck.
I think my dad made me pay for it myself. I think I got it when I was like 19 or 20. and he was like, "Yeah, you're not going under. I'm not paying for it." I was like, "Oh, okay, won't be bad."
It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, so they put my ass under, and they took out all 4. But that's fine. It's my fucking stand-up comedy app telling me to write jokes. So they put me under. They do the operation. I come through, and they wheel me away. Right as I'm going home, my mom asked me a question, and I open my mouth to speak, and just blood. Yeah, fuck ton of blood. And so, um, but and like one of the she thought it was like some of the gauze had come loose, so she helps me put it back in. And it stopped for a little bit. We got back to the house, and I'm laying, or I'm like propped up in bed, right? So I'm at like a 60-degree angle or some shit, and my mom helps me take out my gauze, and just fucking pool of blood starting to come out. And she's like, what the shit? So she calls the doctor's office. She's like, hey, you fucks.
Yeah.
Like, did you fuck up my son's stitches? Like, what's going on? And they're like, no, it's fine. Bleeding happens. Just go ahead and put more gauze in there. And if it doesn't like go down in 15 minutes, let us know. I'm like, all right. They're like, all right, sounds good. Put more gauze in there. Gauze gets filled up in like fucking 45 seconds. Like, no shit. Just filled. So she calls him back, like, hey, you fucks. The gauze is now used. All of it. The roll of gauze you gave us, it's fucking gone. What do we do? And they were like, oh, so they're on speaker. I'll never forget this. They're like, oh, yeah, it wasn't supposed to happen. And it's like, well, bitch, the sky's blue and water's wet. Like, are we just saying like obvious things to each other now? And so they're like, hey, do you have any Lipton tea bags? And she's like, yeah. She's like, okay. Put the tea bags in the back of his mouth. They're very absorbent. If that doesn't work, bring him back. We might have fucked up the stitches.
Holy shit.
It's like, bro, why not just tea bags are the solution? Why not just go? Thankfully, the tea bags worked. But
they did? Okay, at least.
Thankfully, it worked. But I just remember how sick it made me. So like, okay, like I've never been like a drug person ever. Like I've taken, I can say this on camera now. I've taken mushrooms every now and again, and then that feels so freeing. And then, but I've stayed away from everything else. You know what I mean? Like, I smoke like a bit of weed here, and I smoke it a bit now that I'm out of the military. And
yeah.
Like a couple hits before bed, and I sleep like a dude. I have been getting legit. There's been a couple nights where I haven't gotten the best sleep, but like, dude, the week and a half, almost 2 weeks I've been out of the military has been some of the best sleep of my life. Like, no question.
Oh, I forgot that was recent, huh?
Yeah.
We were talking about it at the Bullet concert.
Mm-hmm. Super fucking recent. And so now, but like, sorry, I've never been like a drug guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I never really taken like
I won't even take ibuprofen. That shit's bad.
Well, isn't that the most like inflammatory thing you can fucking like?
Yeah, it's like a
one of the most
temporary solution that makes it worse, kind of.
Right. No, exactly.
And to sum it up, kind of.
Well, and that's a big issue. Like, if you want to talk about like, military culture, that's some of the biggest issue with like field care, pretty much. Like if you're out in a training exercise or whatever it is, the medics, I mean, granted, they're not given a whole lot of equipment anyway, but they just fucking throw all they have. Is like, yeah, take some fucking ibuprofen, just deal with it till we get back to the.
That's like everyone. Oh, you have a hangover? Drink an ibuprofen. Oh, take an ibuprofen. Oh, do this. Take an ibuprofen. It's like, no, don't take an ibuprofen. Hydrate. Drink some water. Get some sunlight.
Electrolytes in your system. Get some vitamins, some minerals. Because it was funny. Actually, a video came up. I don't know what social media app, but a video had come up about hangovers today, and I guess like the big reason, aside from your liver overacting because of how much booze you're putting in your body and you can't metabolize it quick enough or process it quick enough, when you're doing that, you're typically not drinking enough water, and while the alcohol is just draining your system, you're losing a shit ton of minerals and a shit ton of electrolytes, so your body's just freaking the fuck out.
You're dehydrated and lack of sleep.
But anyway, never been a drug guy, and so when I took those for the first time, I was like, okay, I'm definitely staying away from pills because my body hates that. Not going to do it. Flash forward to my hernia surgery in May. Dude, they got, and I was like, I wasn't super nervous until like the day came. And I was like, oh God, I'm about to get surgery. What if they fucking kill me? You know, like, that's where my brain goes like immediately, you know? So they got me. I stripped down, I fucking put my gown on, I lay in the bed, and before I start talking shit a little bit, very nice nurses. Super nice nurses. But they got me, and they're about to do the IV. And they were like, would you prefer the IV in, because I've got like, especially like when you've got the fucking strap on, like I've got fucking pretty prominent veins. So they're like, you've got good veins, will be an easy stick. Do you want it in your like the crease of your elbow, or do you want it like on your hand? And I was like, fuck it, we'll do the hand. Because I've had the hand before, never really bothered me, but like because my brain hates needles so much, if I get a needle like an IV in my I don't know what the fuck this is, like your like the inside elbow, whatever, right? My body wants me to do this until it's out because I'm so scared that if I move or if I do anything, it's gonna fuck with it. So I'm like this the whole time. Right? I don't want to be uncomfortable. It's like 40 minutes till the surgery. I'll do the hand. I've done it before. It's fine. I'm like, okay. So they were aiming for like right here. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just lay like that. That's cool, whatever. They're aiming for right here, right like above the wrist. Dude, she sticks me with that fucking needle and it just goes into my fucking wrist. Like, it just goes in. It misses the vein.
It's so bad. I've had people miss my veins and I'm pretty vascular. How do you miss? I could get that, I think.
Dude, misses my fucking vein. And I just looked at her and I was like, and she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, she's like 50-something years old, motherly type, you know what? I'm very nice. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, that really hurt. Please take it out. And so she takes it, like, fuck. And she's like, yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm like, no, it's fine. That just really hurt. Just, give me some, stick me again. That really fucking hurt. And I felt so bad because she's like, because where I was, like the nurse's desk was like really like maybe 10 feet away from my bed. And she goes back and she's like, I don't know how the fuck I missed a vein on a 26-year-old healthy guy. What the fuck? But they're like, it stuck me, whatever. But my point is, so they stick me in, they're wheeling me into the operating room. And I start freaking the fuck out a little bit. I'm like, oh shit. And they're like, hey, like, are you feeling okay? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, okay, no, you're not. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and give you a little bit of Valium to calm you down. I'm like, all right, sounds good. I remember like thinking to myself, I'm like saying my fucking prayers, dude. I'm like, God, please don't kill me. Please let me live. I have cool things I want to do. I don't want to die. The Valium hits me. Dude, that shit was so strong. I prayed differently. I was like, yeah, God, we got this.
No, we're good.
Oh my God, we're good. And then I wake up after surgery, and dude, like, I was in so much fucking pain. And the nurse, like, they take me over to where I was going to recover, and the nurse is there, and she's like, hey, how are you feeling? Are you in any pain? And I've got like the breathing tube still on my throat. I'm like, yeah, I'm in fucking pain. And she's like, okay, we're going to give you some fentanyl. And I'm like, yeah,
what?
I'm all
That's
fucked.
not what I would be like.
Yeah,
no,
I'm all fucked up coming off anesthesia. But I'm like, oh, what? But dude, I didn't even have time to process I'm getting fentanyl, and it hit me so fast. It is obviously it's intravenously, so it's gonna hit you a lot quicker than any other method, I'm assuming. But dude, when I tell you that I felt nothing, I felt nothing.
That's wild. And you can see how highly addictive that shit is.
Dude, I was flabbergasted. And as I'm like I come to at this point, I'm literally, my body felt like TV static. Like, I just felt like there was nothing there. And I asked her, I was like, hey, I know that like this is a medical facility and you're doing safe things, but like, why is this fentanyl good for me? Like, why is this okay to give me? And she was like, because we gave you such a low dosage, it's just going to numb the pain. And I was like, how much did you give me? And she's like, 100 micrograms. And for my more educated friends that I asked questions to, I guess that is like such an infinitely smaller amount than you could ever get on the street that like it's controlled at that point. Huh. You know what I mean? And then like, fuck, dude, this was like maybe 3 years ago. Or 2 years ago, I was working at this one caregiving company. Fucking horrible field that for me anyway, horrible field. But I remember we had one of these guys in our homes that we cared for, and he was buying fentanyl off the streets. And dude, like, they call him blues. Like,
of course, get a nickname.
Yeah, one little fucking pill was like 50 cents, $1.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the crisis. It's crazy right now. Yeah. Go down, like, right there in Bays, Eubank and Central. It's just bad. And you drive down central Louisiana, it's even worse.
It's a fucking war zone. Literally a war
It's
zone.
literally the war zone, yeah.
So, on a lighter subject, you've mentioned your girlfriend a lot. And I think about, I want to get your opinion on this. We're living in a time now where, like words are losing meaning. You know what I mean? Like, really, like very powerful words like racist, like a racist, a fascist, misogynist.
People say that and don't even know what they're saying.
Exactly. Like, they're losing a communist, socialist, all these or isms, you know what I mean? They're losing
Anything
their
they
meaning.
disagree with.
Exactly. And some people would say, and I don't agree with this, that your girlfriend supporting you in the way that she does. I mean, I see it in real time.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Well, you see us. We hang out sometimes.
Exactly. Like, obviously, I haven't seen her fucking make you food, but like, but you know what I mean? Like, I see the way you two interact. And she's like the definition of supportive girlfriend.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? What's up, dude? So what, like... Oh, it's a sneeze. I was like, the fuck?
I was like, what is...
So some people, and again, I disagree with this wholeheartedly, but some people look at this and say, oh, she makes dinner, does this and this. That's misogyny. That's bullshit. On the lighter side of that, like, how important, especially with something that you're doing, like fighting, which is so intensive, it's so time consuming. We talked a little earlier, you have to be fucking obsessed with it. It takes all of your time. How important and how much of a positive impact is it that you have such a supportive person in your life, let alone they're your partner?
Oh yeah, dude, I'm blessed. It's awesome. I mean, it's I'm pretty lucky to have what I have. But I mean, I do things for her. Like, I mean, we do things for each other. We give to each other. It's just our relationship works out pretty good. We have a balance between. We're going on our 4th vacation this year. You know, we've been in Arizona. Went to watch my friend get married in Missouri. We're going to Vegas again. We did something else too. Just my fight, I guess, in Cortez, Colorado. But we pretty much just do everything together. I bet she's texting me right now. It's like, where you at? Where you at? How much longer? I miss you. Not being annoying, just tell me that she misses me. And it's cute. Our relationship works out real well. I love how she loves to cook too. We bought her a KitchenAid, dude, and she's been making homemade bread. So good. I mean, I even get the organic unbleached flour, of course, avocado oil, or grass-fed butter, if anything she makes. But it's been nice. She has. I mean, and men and women have their roles, and that's true. I mean, I'm a pretty godly person, but they both have their roles. Like, cool, the man could be the head of the household, but the woman turns it whichever way it wants. I mean, they each have their roles. She's not going to go out there and go whip this dude's ass. I mean, that's my job. But I can't comfort her the way she comforts me. I mean, men and women have their roles for a reason. I mean, it's very simple. It's pretty human nature. I don't know how a lot of people get it confused nowadays, but that's another story.
Well, no, I agree, and that's something I agree with wholeheartedly. And so, for you, like, again, a lot of these things are, I wouldn't say up in the air, but they're just being debated in ways they shouldn't be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So what is your version? What is your point of view on what it means to be, like, traditionally masculine? And then you brought up that there's religion has a place in your life.
Yeah.
What is traditionally masculine to you? And then when you add God on top of that, what does it, I mean, the term like godly man, right?
Yeah,
it's a very common one, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you as well?
It means a lot. I have not been a good Christian. I mean, I need to go to church more, but I mean, I'm very rooted in my beliefs. And the masculinity thing you're talking about, I mean, just being there to support your, girlfriend, wife, kids. I mean, just being there, I have a great role model in my dad. This is the best dude that in the freaking world. Like, that dude is like, he supported our whole family when my mom was able to stay home and work. And he was just like a carpenter at the time. And it never made us feel like we didn't have money. He would, like, I hear him telling stories now sometimes, like, if it was whether to buy James a toy or eat, like, or go out that weekend, James would get a toy, and, like, would make me feel. And I never realized when I was young that it was even like that. Like, I just have such a good role model, so many good male role models in my life that I'm just trying to be like them. Like, if I'm eventually, me and my girl, we want kids, I mean, if I'm half the father my dad was to me, then I'm doing amazing. Like, holy shit, I'm doing good. Like, I'm pretty blessed in that aspect. I'm blessed to have a good mom, too, and they both had their different roles. I mean, just trying to emulate that a little bit.
And as you are growing up and, sooner rather than later, you be going into your 30s and you look back at your childhood, how how much of an impact will it not only have a good father, but to have role models in general in your life?
Oh man, I think it's the biggest thing. I think
And
that's one of the biggest
go ahead. I'm
downfalls.
just gonna
You're good.
check the cameras.
I think that's one of the biggest downfalls in our society today is the lack of male role models, lack of a father in a family. Like, dude, little kids need a daddy, just like little kids need a mother too. They're both as important to each other. They both give their own roles and they both help each other out. I'm blessed to have had both those. My girlfriend didn't really have a dad step up in her life and stuff, but she's freaking. It's also not an excuse either. She didn't have the role model. She has a great job, great career, great life. She hasn't used that as an excuse. She's used it as a reason to work harder and not depend on people. So I mean, it's great to have a male role model. It's not the end. It's pretty damn important.
So why, and you started saying that a little bit earlier. So why do you think the lack of male role models kind of, I wouldn't say it's the whole reason, but it's a pretty damn big one that we're seeing the deterioration of our Western society. You know what I mean? So why do you think that is?
Why do you think
that like a big reason for that is divorce rates are at like 68, 70%, right? And then especially in like black, Mexican, and like minority families, you have a lot of single motherhood, right? So why do you think the lack of a father or a strong male role model in a household is an element of society not going the right way?
Yeah, I mean, it's just nice to have a example, pretty much a male example, someone who's there, someone who like my dad. He was there. He would work his ass off, and he would take care of us, and he put us above everything. There was nothing. Like when I was in youth sports, I would be able to do anything I wanted. I was able to but he also taught me that some like great lessons in life too. Like if you're starting something, you never quit it, like that, and to never lie, never cheat. Like I mean, I've taken those and pretty damn honest. Like you talk to me, if you find anyone that could call me a liar, then I want you to find them. But I'm not a perfect man. I mess up. I've done a lot of dumb stuff. But I mean, just having a good example in my life, I know has helped me, I guess.
Well, and that's
and I see people that don't have that. Like even when I help out my friends, like in high school, some of them didn't have dads and stuff. I'm like, yo, just come over, because he coached a lot of dudes in Yaffle in my freshman year of high school. So they're, Coach Romero, and they would always. She's like, oh, your dad's so cool. I'm like, yeah, my dad's pretty badass.
Well, and that's one of my favorite quotes from Jordan Peterson is, you can't it is impossible to 100% tell the truth, but never lie, because we don't know everything.
Yeah.
You know the
That's
answer to everything.
No.
You know what I mean? But you also you do have the ability to not lie.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a good, it's that. And then, another one of his that I like is you never get away with anything. And if you think you are getting away with something, take a holistic look at your life. Is everything going as well as it should, or as it could be? Are you everything that you could be? Probably not. What are you doing that people don't know about that is taking away from your life? And I think a lot of that kind of stuff, a lot of the self-accountability things, if you put that into like the public conversation, you're looked at as a bigot. You're looked at as like a toxic masculinity.
Yeah, I don't even worry about that stuff. The other stuff the world says now, man, I don't really care.
Well, and you shouldn't. You know what I mean? You shouldn't at all. But and you bring up a good point that not only did you have a good father, you had other male role models to look up to as well.
I mean, his father, my mom's dad. I mean, all my uncles, all the other, just a lot of great male role models in my life that instilled mostly hard work, a lot of hard work.
Do you have siblings?
I have 2 younger sisters.
Okay. And how many siblings does your dad have?
He had 2 brothers and a sister. He was the baby. He was the young one.
And I just asked because, my dad's side of the family, that's the Mexican side of my family. And I think my dad has, I haven't seen his side of the family in a very long time, and certainly haven't seen his ass in a long time. But he has like 3 or 4 brothers, and then 2 sisters, 3 sisters. Like big family. You're very traditional, big Mexican household. You know what I mean? And I bring that up for reference because that's how, until 50, 70 years ago, that's how humans lived by and large. It was in big families, but small communities. And so the kids that were getting raised, they were getting raised by the community, right? It's a community of 200 to 300, 400 people. Everyone knew each other.
Yeah.
Everyone was involved with each other's lives, for better or worse, but, everyone knew each other. And there was a lot, like, information-wise. As a kid, although you don't know it consciously, you're absorbing information, you're absorbing life lessons, you're getting all this guidance from multiple sources that are generally positive. Generally, because everyone in that small community was able to keep each other in check. And I think, like, after, like, the Industrial Revolution and the boom after World War II, just, like, the metropolis, like, and this isn't a word, but, like, the metropolization of America, you know what I mean?
You could have told me that it was a word.
Just these big cities popping. I was like, oh, shit, I don't know if this is the best for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's downsides to that, of course.
But I don't know, man. It's good to. I think it's a good thing to put out because a lot of people need to hear like that. This is why, having both sides of the coin. Having both a mom and a dad, having these positive influences, even if you don't have a mom or a dad, but just having like strong role models in your life. That's why that's so important on your upbringing.
Yes, yeah.
So,
and even if you do have a bad upbringing, it's nice to see the people that don't use it as an excuse and grow up to be great people. So.
Yeah. Well, because I use that for an excuse for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because my dad, he kicked me out of, because my parents got divorced when I was like 3 or 4, I think. 4? Yeah, I was 3 going into 4, I think, around there. And they split. Dad stayed around for a little bit, kicked me out of the house when I was like 7-ish, 6 or 7. And then, I reached out to him when I was like 16, 17-ish, because at the time, no, I was 17, because at the time I was trying to join the Army. And that was during the Obama administration, and I've got really shitty eyesight. And they were like cutting down the military funding and all that stuff, so it didn't end up happening. But then came back at 17 and then left again when I was 19 turning 20. That sounds about right, because I was just graduating college. Yeah, that sounds right. And I remember being younger like that and using that as an excuse. It's like, oh, well, my life isn't going as good, or I'm not where I want to be, or I don't have this or this. But just fabricated bullshit. You know what I mean?
Well, sure, I had everything raised perfectly right and every opportunity, and I still didn't do what I should have, like in school and stuff in college back. But I mean, I've learned a lot now. But I mean,
right.
I felt like a dumbass because I had everything.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't making the right choices by like classes and stuff,
Right. And that's not just being a dumb kid and learning lessons
Yeah,
like that.
that's pretty much what it was. Yeah. Now I've got a pretty good sense of myself.
So one thing that I do want to close on, if you want to talk about it, because I had a pretty interesting conversation with Nico about it, especially with what happened recently, but just in general, I'm trying to word this properly. How do you process and move through loss in your life?
That's a good one right now, because obviously Garrett, is our best friend, my best friend. It's hard. This is one that hit me harder than anything. Like I had like other closest deaths was like my grandpa and my tata. Like that was mostly seeing my mom and dad sad. They were older, like they lived a full life. But someone close to you that passes away, it still hurts. I still pass by the gym sometimes. I'm not a big crier, but I even get a little teary-eyed thinking about it. So how do I process it? I just try to live every day through him. I mean, that's what, I wear this hoodie. He gave me this hoodie before I walked out for my first fight this year. So he's like, oh, dude, I got the Legion hoodie for you. He's like, it's one of a kind. It's the Wu-Tang thing. He's let me see if I can find it. And then he couldn't find it for weeks. The night before the fight, he's like, dude, I found it. So I met up and got it. So that's why I walk out with this hoodie every amateur fight for Garrett too. So I just try to live as they would, in a sense, learn from their mistakes and just appreciate all the good times that you've ever had with someone. And don't, especially if they're like a good, happy person, you don't want to be like moping around all the time. They wouldn't want that. But it is nice to appreciate them. Sometimes take moments of your day just to sit there, appreciate it, or even talk about it with someone,
No, that's a really good way to put it. Yeah, that's what I've had find myself doing as well, is because I mean, obviously, as you're like closer to it, like time wise, like it's the first week after month, however long, where it's like, okay, yeah, allow yourself to kind of feel the negative stuff. But then have you found that as time has gone on, you reflect more in positive emotion than anything else?
Oh, 100%. I'm not just I'm a super positive guy. Coming from Garrett, one time he told me they were all camping, drinking, partying, and I actually had a fight coming up. So I wasn't drinking or anything. He's like, damn, dude, if they had a power-up like Super Mario Bros. In real life, I would have to be James. He's just always happy, man. So that's hearing that from him and thinking about it now him. So just try to be more like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm overly positive, stupid. It bugs people sometimes. I don't stress. I don't stress about anything. My girlfriend would get mad at me. My dad would, why aren't you stressed? You're not doing this. You're not doing. Like, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be all right. Just be happy through it. Maybe I'm one of a kind, they say, but I don't know. I'm not gonna change.
The world needs more energy like that, dude. That's fucking awesome. Seriously, like especially today, the world needs more energy like that. And I agree. It's like, hey, like I think it's Jim Carrey said it during his speech. It's like, obviously this is generally speaking. If it's not okay, then it's not over yet. It's gonna be okay. It's just not done yet. So I think that's a good way to put it, man. Listen, this has been a fucking blast.
Yeah, thanks,
I have been looking forward to sitting down with you for a while. So thank you very much. Again, I know your time is valuable. I really appreciate you coming through, man.
Of course.
Keep me updated whenever a fight does come around.
Hopefully soon. Maybe next one will be out of state, but early next year we'll have another Fight World, and I'm sure my coach will do everything to get me matched on it. So we'll see.
Fuck yeah! And hey, if it's within a 300-mile radius, I'll be able to make it. So
hell yeah! I'll let you know.
I'd love to see you fucking put a clinic on somebody, dude.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you again, man, for coming. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. Oh, where can people fucking find you on social media to follow you?
James is a beast. JamesIsUhHBeast. Had to think about that
one. Follow this dude. He's fucking going places. And I'm not expecting ringside seats at UFC, but I'll take some nosebleeds. You know what I mean?
I got you.
All right. Thank you, man, for doing this again. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. And we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.